Yeah, talk about the balls, Jones.
So we've been working on developing these balls for 2.5 years now. Tristan's holding our prototype. Jerry's negotiating with people in Taiwan to get this done. We should have them ready by March. We're going to be testing them on Friday. Tristan and I are going to be testing it to make sure it's what we need. That's what it looks like. It's got a logo on it. Yeah.
It's a lemon peel design. Is that right?
It's a lemon peel design. It's based on the 1860 ball.
Yeah.
It's the same size. It's a little bit lighter because of Townball. We don't want to hurt people with it. And a little bit softer than what you usually see.
I mentioned this to Grant. The day I played, the ball was more like a hacky sack feel. Able to be hit and struck hard, yet soft enough when you beat a player. It didn't hurt, and soft, like I wouldn't want to throw it in a real game. So this ball looks a little more rigid. Is that right?
Yeah, a little more rigid too. It's designed to soften with play as you hit the ball. So we're still testing it and finding out how exactly get the right balance between you can hit it and soften the throw at somebody. Yeah. Hey, there's Mr. AJ himself. He's our board member. How are you, Ajith? So while he's getting on, Grant, can we watch that video together? Talking about the.
Yep.
And then Tristan, you want to talk about what we did in the pavilion? Elijah too, maybe. Oh, we already talked about that. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit.
Go ahead, Elijah.
Do you mean like how we used the pavilion as like an outdoor venue?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the pavilion was kind of like this big overhang. It's kind of like over a basketball court at Veritas. And then next to it is a parking lot. So at the hours we played, it was like well after school. So the parking lot was clear and we could just kind of use like the whole parking lot and underneath the pavilion as kind of a field per se. And we just had a pretty large area to play with. So we pitched from underneath the pavilion. So if like someone was pitching the whole time, they could like stay out of the rain if it rained a little bit. And then you'll probably in the video, you can see how the bases actually extend out into the parking lot. And yeah, I guess you'll kind of see how we used it a little bit more in the video. I don't have too much to say about it.
Let me know if you guys can even hear this when I start playing it, okay? Anything?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna share my sound. Share sound.
Cool. Yeah. Do you want to play?
There you go.
Hey, how old are you? I'm 44, so. 42. Perfect, come on. You don't like your team? No. No! He doesn't like the team. I think it's fine. You guys back.
Tony, watch your head.
Nice!
Wow.
Get it?
Nice, Olivier!
Nice play. All right, Brad. Ready? Let's go!
What happened? No!
Run now!
Nice job, Luke.
All right, let's switch it up. What do you want me? Take my spot. Julian, stay right here. So I can throw it to you, okay? No. Get him. Just get him. Yeah, let's
I
go.
love the concrete
Let's go.
jungle feel of it all.
Let's go! Yeah! No! Beautiful throw, beautiful peg. No way. That's another zone. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, timeout. We have an initiation to do. Mr. Poole, come on over.
Here comes Chris.
Oh my gosh. A real zone. Whoa! Woohoo! Let's go! Let's go! Ethan's still third.
All right, timeout.
Ethan is learning that there's no base running during timeouts. No strike. Let's go. That's a strike. Oh my gosh, another zone.
Was that an intentional walk?
See all the base stealing, Jeffrey?
I do.
There you go.
I would
great game.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend going and watching the video on your own. It probably didn't stream very well through, but definitely go and watch that whole thing. It's awesome. So if you can see all of the frames, I think we only got like a half of the frames. So
Okay. Yeah, so that was back in, I think, October.
You guys hear me
But-
right now?
Yeah, go for it, Jones.
So yeah, Jeffrey, in 21st Century Townball, we really should show you what the field looks like. It's a bit
I got it.
different because you can run back behind home. So here's the
Yeah.
background. Here's first
Yeah, Grant
second,
shared this with me.
third,
It's very different
fourth,
from the original game.
and all the way back around. Yeah, we basically completed the whole square to go around.
Huh.
Because usually it's like 30, 60, 60, 60, I think, or 30, 60, yeah, 60. This is 42, 68, 110, 110, and 110. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Have you
But-
seen this before, Bill?
No, yeah. I think I've seen that on your website, right?
Yeah.
As I mentioned to Grant, when I've played, it's been a 60-foot square, and 30 feet in from in this picture, the fourth stroke in the middle, 30 feet forward, the hurler would throw the ball. There was a catcher, but they were ancillary because the ball can go anywhere.
Right.
What was cool? Yeah, there you go. That's the field I played. Thank you. And we drew the crowd. It was like the halftime play, and everyone was out there. So as I understood the game, Townball, Boston Common, back in the day, right? The New York game was thriving in some other way. Everyone played. If there were 50 people, 25 versus 25. If there were 100 people, I read about games. There were 200, 100 versus 100. If there were 77, you'd split it up, right? And that's what I think was cool about this is like talking about breaking it down to like, fundamentals. Let's have the fans play. And any of you vintage people out there, like myself, who played a lot of vintage ball, 1864 ball, whatever, I would say half our teammates of 22 this year came off the field. People watching and said, I want to go and play.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's cool about Townball is that people just actually walked off the field in their skirts or in their whatever finery and actually join the game.
Yeah, that original Dimensions, the 30-60-60, that's the game that Will see. Will and I were both playing in that very original game that we played, Townball, and we said, okay, we felt like it should have been pushed back a little bit, and so that's where we came up with the 42, 68, 110, 110, and we actually used the Fibonacci sequence in the bases. I don't know if you're aware of that, but the 42, 68, 110, that's part of the Fibonacci sequence. I know that Elijah and Olivia will both appreciate that because they're both math majors. And then actually every aspect of 21st Century Townball is now based on the Fibonacci sequence. For example, we play first team to 8 run wins, win by 5 capped at 13. 8, 5, and 13 are all Fibonacci numbers. The 3 strikes, the 1 out, the 5 stakes. Literally every aspect of the game is now based on the Fibonacci sequence. We kind of borrowed from baseball in that they have the perfection of mathematics in their game. We said, okay, how can we have that similar theme to make Townball work? So here's a game we played in Hillsdale, actually.
This isn't Michigan.
Oh, this isn't Michigan?
This
is
is
in Michigan, yeah.
This was back in October. We had
There's
about 5 or 6 games.
42 feet, then 68 feet right there. That's a double.
Jones, can you explain why we have a catcher right behind the zone?
I can. Again, as Jeffrey knows, in Townball, if the batter swings, it's only a strike if the catcher catches it, right? So you got to have a catcher back there to hang on to the ball. But in 21st Century Townball, if it hits the zone, you're out. Just one time hitting the zone, you're out. And we do that because the zone would interfere with gameplay otherwise. And since there's only 1 out per inning, it makes sense that once it hits the zone, inning's over. The zone never interferes with gameplay that way, ever. It's such a beautiful balance, I think, to have the zone. Really works well with the Massachusetts version of play.
Well, and it really seems to incentivize swinging too, which it adds so much to the game where you have to actually protect the zone versus you just get penalized for having the zone or for having a strike thrown at you. Whereas now it's the ultimate penalty of ending the inning, which incentivizes that swinging, right? I love that.
The way who is it that always says Grant says this, high risk, high reward, that kind of a game.
In the game I played, it went on to the 100 scale. Whoever scored 100 points ended the match.
Yeah.
At that moment, it was grand. We had every age, every person, out on the field rejoicing, and then moved on with our day. It was really. I can see how this brings value to people.
Yeah.
But we never used a zone. That to me is more like wiffle ball. I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
That's exactly where we got it from, wiffle ball.
Yeah.
Even the zone itself is a golden rectangle, by the way. It's based on the proportions of the human body, all the Fibonacci sequences in the human body. We took the numbers and boiled it down. And incidentally, the width is the same width as the home plate in baseball. That was a coincidence. So we were really happy about that.
So I will say,
go ahead.
I will say one of the things that really drew me to the game in the long run is how versatile the game is, right? So I mean, we've seen a couple videos here of 2 very different locations in which the game is being played, right? And yet it seems to work quite well in both scenarios, and has a fairly different feel of play in those different scenarios, and yet still feels like Townball itself. Right, so I think one of the things I particularly love about this game is that it can be played in such differing locations, and due to the rules being as well thought out as they are, that it's able to fit all those different locations. Whereas that was one of the hard things with baseball. Whenever I wanted to play baseball with friends, you needed the clear diamond shape because you needed to have clear foul lines, right? Whereas with Townball, if you have a square field that's big enough, you're good to go, which means the soccer field works, a football field works, a large open space works, a pavilion works. And so that's one of the things I really love about this game.
Yeah, and one of the other things is that it also just works really well indoors too. Like we have an
Yeah.
indoor tournament coming up here at Veritas. Just a 3-team tournament, 12 games total, 8 per team.
And the indoor is a lot more like the Massachusetts game. We only have 4 bases, just like
Yeah.
this indoor here. Here we go.
Yep. It's really
Second
fast
play
paced.
for
I
us.
love it.
There's a couple spots in Newburgh where I was hoping to organize an indoor town ball game. It's really hard to find a indoor venue right now, but this looks like extremely fun. So,
It is.
George
It
Fox
is.
folks will try to maybe get that started next semester.
Cool.
I could share all day. Let's get on with the agenda. Let's see. Okay, so Jones, since most of the Fresno motherboard contingency is not here yet, and probably won't be, why don't we just go straight to the dates for our tournaments in June? Does that sound good?
It does. Although Tommy was going to run that part.
Yeah, he just texted me and he said that he just got off work, and if he showed
Okay.
up to the call, he would be here in 25 minutes.
Okay,
We'll
so
be done
we
by
are
then.
going to have a. Is AJ still here? I hope he's still here. There he is.
Yeah.
Okay, AJ, introduce yourself. You are my friend from Fresno State.
Hi all. Are you all joining from Seattle area?
They're all over the place.
All over the place.
Even one from Taiwan.
Okay. My apologies, I missed the time. I had a dental appointment. I didn't know that it was clashing. I thought I
worries.
had no appointments on my calendar. When I looked up, okay. So I work at Fresno State. I played cricket many years, for longer than most of you are present here. So baseball, cricket involves hitting the ball, but it's after pitching on the ground. So we consider it's if the ball doesn't pitch on the ground, it comes straight away. It's a loose ball. We just whack it, and it's a 360 game again, played by a somewhat flatter bat. Apart from that, and I like the aspect of in Townball that the ball is always live. That is exciting to me. That's the number one thing which drew to me in the stealing a base, and
Hidden ball trick.
Daniel's trickery of hiding the ball. That captured me. So, and one thing I like to change if I ever to is more continuity. 1 out, whole team out. I am still not a fan of that. Okay. Because in hot Fresno sun, you just go all the way to the front and somebody hits out and you're all the way back. It just apart from that, hey, it's an A still. If I have to pick 100 points, I can only pick 1 point as a cons. Others are all pros, right? So yes, we have half a dozen players. Who else were you expecting from Fresno today?
Raise your hand if you live in Fresno right now. Only a couple that are here. Yeah, only a couple that are here.
Artash is just left, and he would have been from that contingency.
So how many other teams are from Fresno?
So we have your team from Fresno, and we have Joshua Treisman has his company team from Fresno.
Oh, wow.
And we have a lot of players in Fresno that can make a team. So we probably have 3 teams in Fresno. We have 1 team in the San Francisco area, and we're hoping to bring a team down from Oregon if we can make it. So
Okay.
that's what
I
we
gotta
have.
say, y'all, I'm from New Hampshire. Y'all should think about coming to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for our vintage tournament and bring Townball there if you brought 20 people or something.
When is
And
that?
Oh, I believe I'm not the right one to look, but I'll look up right. Hold on. How do I get out? It is in the summer. Uh, the I guess my question would be, what is the epicenter of Townball for you all? For us in vintage, it is Gettysburg. We get 30 teams to play each other over 4 days. I played 4 9 games back to back.
Grant, where's our epicenter? What would you say?
I mean,
Kind of moved around a little bit.
it's kind of moving around. We've got
Well,
our strongest area was probably Fresno, California, in terms of longevity. But we've had the most activity near Portland, Oregon for the last 2 years. But that's going to be changing once I can get a team going in Hillsdale, Michigan. Ideally, we would have since the vintage baseball teams in the United States, most of them are in the Rust Belt out here by the Great Lakes. Ideally, this would be the new epicenter. And part of that would be going out and playing with your guys at Gettysburg and doing other things like that, Jeffrey.
Gettysburg is insane. I just put what I think. It's awesome. We teams here and there around. They say our Northeast. I mean Connecticut, where I play, we have a league. We have an All-Star game. The All-Star game, as I said to you, Grant, the other day, we played 3 9 games. Each game was an hour and a half. We're talking like 15, 14 games. The level of play was insane. Um, this Gettysburg Festival is like that. If you guys could bring the town ball in where, like I experienced, where we threw it in the middle of other play to show how the game evolved. And no one's mentioned rounders, by the way. Who's played rounders? I mean, it all came from that. Cricket, fine, rounders, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. I'd love to keep talking about that because we need to get to know the vintage baseball guys out here in the New England area, and I will rummage a group of people to go out to Gettysburg if I can, as long as it's not in the month of June. That'd be great. If it's in July or August, I'm game. Yeah. So, but right here, there's about 11 different days in June that we will be in the Central California area. We're going to be starting in Fresno, and just for those of you who aren't really familiar with that part of the country, I'm just going to pull up a map here. All right, so this is California. This is Highway 99. It's hilarious. There's a Highway 99 near every location of Townball. There's a Highway 99 here. There's a Highway 99 near George Fox in Oregon. And then in my town, there's a Highway 99. So that's funny. So Fresno's here. We'll have 2 games here. And then Madera is right here. This will be the 3rd game. Then we're going to go to Chowchilla. We'll play here. And then Merced. We'll have a game in Merced. And then I have a lot of friends in Turlock. I was actually born there. And then we'll play here. And then you'll notice here, all of that happens from this weekend, the 10th, 11th, 12th, into the week here. But then you'll notice that Father's Day is the 19th. And now that Juneteenth is a national holiday, Juneteenth falls on, it's the same day as Father's Day, which means that it will be observed the following Monday, which means more game opportunities, most likely because people will be off of work. So these 3 days will be spent in the Bay Area. And where are we here? There we are. If you're not familiar with the Bay Area, you will be now. So yeah, there you go. Most people are. So we'll Tommy's not here, but Tommy Sanchez is one of Daniel Jones's former students. He just graduated from Berkeley, and he's got about 11 players he's hoping to get acquainted with Townball between now and then. And then he'd like to play at Golden Gate Park here if he can reserve it in time, which would be amazing. And then we'll probably find 2 other locations. If we can't get all 3 games there. We'll probably pick other places in the northeastern section of the Bay here or somewhere along the east side, most likely, since that's where a lot of our connections are. So just to give you a bit of more of a visual representation.
To answer AJ's question, we're hoping to have 3 or 4 teams in Fresno for that weekend.
Yeah.
There's only 2 set teams right now. It's the Haymakers, JT's team, and then your team. The other team will have to be people that come together to form teams.
Oh, Elijah had to go. He probably already went. I would have said bye.
So you got
Okay.
the 99 tour.
We do. Yep. So for most of it is going to be in this little corridor right here. This is only an hour, 18 minutes of driving for the whole stretch. So first 3 games are going to be here, 2 in Fresno, 1 in Madera, 1 in Chowchilla, 1 in Merced, 1 in Turlock. And then 3 games the weekend here. So that's what we're doing in June. There you go. That's the big reveal. Is the schedule. So
depending on how many teams we have, Grant, we might have more games in Fresno, right?
Yeah. It also, here's the thing, we'll have established teams, but then people can invite whoever they want to come and play.
Like Jeffrey was saying, bring fans into the game.
Yeah, and they'll just get assigned to the teams that get played. So I'm not worried about not having enough people. Yeah. Jones, have you thought much about any games that we'll have in Oregon? I have people like Bill and Brent in mind here.
Actually, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. We actually have 5 different connections in Washington, and I need to get Bill, Brent, you guys right here, connected to get to know each other. Rylan also lives in Washington, and then Bill, do you know Quick Step? He's a vintage baseball player who plays for the Portland Pioneers. He's interested in playing Townball. I'll have to get you his contact information. And then also, I think Andrew was the 5th one, right?
Yeah, Andrew's a little less strong of a contact, but he's still up there. Yeah.
So we have some contacts in Washington. So I mean, we would love to come up there and play you guys, if you guys want to get a team going. Or so we should probably let Bill share about the what the Pacific Northwest Baseball Association that he just formed, right? Right, Bill?
Yeah, it's something I put together over the past 6 months. My team, the Whatcom Bay Stars Vintage Baseball team, is really in its infancy. We've only had 2 practices, so we've not even had a game yet. We just trying to put it together, trying to advertise, for getting players out who want to come out and play ball. Trying to hit up the local fire and police departments too.
Can we schedule a game with you guys right now? I mean, we'd love to come up and play you guys.
I think it's premature to know at this time. I mean, I'd like to play something this year, but I guess until I've got 10 warm bodies on the field on a guarantee, I'd feel like that's not possible. But I think what is possible, if worst case scenario, you come out, and even if there's only a few of us, perhaps local fire, local police, or even just having an exhibition, a non-competition, just having you guys demonstrating, what Townball is. Maybe that would drum up interest in the area too.
How far do you live? How far away from Brent do you live? You guys live from each other?
About 3 hours, because you're up by Bellingham, right, Bill?
I'm in Bellingham.
Yeah, Brent is in Wenatchee.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole mountain pass in our way.
Okay.
And a whole lot of snow right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
shorter drive for Brent than Jones.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you bring up a good point there, Daniel. Come up to Washington to play ball? Absolutely. Will I have a full team? I don't know.
Yeah.
But worst case scenario, if you've got some sort of exhibition, then we'll get that into our newspaper and get the word out, and people will come out and see it.
Will Gagesian, what do you think? Road trip up north?
You know me, it's not hard to convince me to do a road trip.
Come see us lonesome Northwesterners.
Yeah, I think that'd be
I'm in the Northwest. I don't know what you're talking about.
Lucian, where are you living now? Are you in Pepperdine or are you in Portland?
So I'm down in LA for the majority of the year. I'm home for another week in Portland, and then I'll probably be home at the beginning and the end of the summer. So I'd love to play some Townball at those points. But
Okay.
I won't be around here consistently.
So will you be in California in June?
Yes,
Oh, my
I
goodness.
will probably be working that full week, so I wouldn't be able to do everything, but I could probably try to make it up for one of the weekends.
The 11th would be the best weekend because that's where the Fresno games are. It'll be so good to have you there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'd love. It's been like 2 years now since I've played.
Yeah.
So
okay, so keep that weekend open, the weekend of the 11th for Fresno. Okay.
Okay, we'll do.
Jones, probably just for the purpose of the rest of this call, we've gone a little over an hour now. Jeffrey, I'll keep in touch with you about how to just get on the radar with whatever schedules are going on with your network.
Yeah, the Gettysburg event is in the middle of July.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It is awesome. In terms of vintage ball, it's everything.
Great. Yeah, and I go to the vintage baseball Zoom calls, and now I'm connected to you more so now. So we'll keep that going. For those of you who are wondering, if there might be any games we'll do this summer, Jones, Tristan, Chris, you guys will have to talk about that. Chris, do you want to talk just a little bit about how you've been building the zones, and maybe what we might expect for the coming year in terms of stuff like that? Oh, Jones, you had a hand up?
No, I was just waving to Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as the incoming year, I have been able to source materials. Most of my materials are recycled scrap metal from scrap companies that I've been repurposing to build the zones. As far as the actual net frame, so far I have plenty of material for that. Right now I'm having a little bit of difficulty sourcing out the material for the base plates, but I should have that alleviated here in a little bit.
Hello, Ishan.
How are you guys?
Good.
How's the meeting going?
Good. We're going to be in Fresno on June 11th that weekend. So can you get some Fresno State guys for us to play?
Yeah, probably. We can get a few.
Cut the
All
probably.
AJ, I don't know if you were here to see this. Did you see this?
Yeah, I was in that one. Then I had to do a force reboot laptop.
Can you read it to us, Grant? Just.
Yep. So we're going to be playing 3 games in the greater Fresno area the weekend of
I had that one, yeah.
12th. And we wanted to do that since you're going to be heading out of town on the 18th.
Good news, I might be going a little bit later. That happened just this week.
Okay.
I'll be going 1 week later, so 25th maybe.
We still like starting in Fresno
That's
anyway because it makes sense because we'll be driving home after that. So, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't met your son before. I'm Grant.
Hi Grant, how's it going?
Nice to meet you. What was your name again?
I'm Ishan. Yeah, I was at UHS, so I played Townball those years.
Yeah, I've heard good things about you from Jones.
What?
It's a surprise, AJ.
Yeah. Yeah. So just keep your ears open and your eyes open. I wish Tommy were here. He'd be talking a lot more about what he's going to be doing in Berkeley, but the California games have hard dates. Jones and I will probably get more organized dates for Oregon in the summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys could start as early as May if you wanted, because you guys get out early. And in fact, you probably should, because you can get a constituency playing and they can have some regularity before we all go down in June. So that way they can kind of run on their own speed. And then when you come back in July, you can do stuff with Bill and elsewhere. And what's going on with the Portland Pioneers?
So I played for the Pioneers for two or three games, and it was good to meet Freight Train. Bill, do you know Freight Train? He's the captain of the Pioneers.
Yeah, actually, I do. He's now the West Region trustee for the VBBA. The fact that we've known each other via email and phone conversations since, since I was living in Arizona.
Nice.
He's got himself involved in the VBBA. Terribly knowledgeable, very intelligent, and a very very good guy.
Yeah, so he's interested in trying Townball out too. He just hasn't got around to it yet. So somebody else we need to introduce to the game.
Definitely.
Jones, was there anything else on our agenda?
I don't have it in front of me. Does it say anything else? I don't. The only other thing I can think of is, I think we've covered a lot of it. Is I think what it comes down to is getting people to actually play, and I think everybody agrees with that. So just getting people together and scheduling games. I'm glad we had the call just for people to get to know each other, but taking initiative and schedule games is what it's all about. I really like Jeffrey's point that it's really about bringing the fans in and say, hey, why don't you give this a try? And we do the exact same thing for Townball, and it's
nice
really
to meet you, Ishan.
It's a very effective way to
Likewise,
get people to know about the game. So yeah. And one thing, AJ, I really want to know. So have you talked to your cricketers about Townball yet? Do they know about the game yet?
I've spoken to about 6 more people. I just spoke to Raji as well in the way. So we'll be able to put up a team, and also maybe we need to get some practice before in our batting cages, because in cricket we don't concentrate on hitting over the ground. We normally glide it along the ground. You don't want to give catches.
Right.
But this one we need to hit over the head. I seen you playing inside the indoor. That's really exciting. That caught my eyes because coming from England background, they love anything indoors. You can popularize very quickly. There are so many sports halls underutilized. They won't use them. 6 badminton court halls. They won't use them more. They're kind of interesting. So.
Well, I can show you the rules for indoor because we play differently. For indoor, if it hits the zone, it's not an out, it's just a strike. So I'll have to share with you how we play indoors if you ever want to give it a try. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Is the ball different for indoors?
Yeah, we use an Incrediball. You ever heard the Incrediball? Like I played with that growing up. It's like
yeah.
I don't know if Grant has one or not.
I got to say, this past summer, we played a vintage game, 1860, as part of a town's anniversary or centennial, some crap. We were hired to play ball. And after us, a cricket team played, AJ, and they were super impressed by the vintage game. They loved how we ran the base path. I think Townball speaks to that. You saw in those videos you shared, people running the base path. I coach high school modern baseball. I deal in run manufacturing. I try to teach these are student athletes, right? I'm trying to teach them to manufacture runs. That's otherwise known as running the base path. Because you hold the bat, and for like 1/10 of the time, you get the bat in your hand, and for the rest of it, you're a base runner. It could be 30 seconds. It could be 10 minutes, right? And you're out there.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same in our game too. Jeffrey, This is a ball from Corky.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks like a Corky ball.
Yeah, we played with it in August.
Okay.
And
Right on.
until we get oh gosh, where is it? Until we get this shipment of proprietary balls that we're having made from Taiwan, we have been using these.
Okay. It looks
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually not. It's pretty darn squishy. Yeah. It's a little
Can we
roughed up because we've played with it
You
outside.
need the gloves for that, the baseball glove to hold.
No gloves used with that ball. None of those balls require a glove.
Good.
That
good.
is
That's
unique
what I
to
like.
vintage baseball.
Yeah, the cricket players love this, that we played hard and dove for balls in the outfield. Cricket is a great game. Rounders is a great game. Nobody's brought up Rounders. Rounders is a fantastic foundation of all these games. But in cricket, the ball field is, you're hitting from the middle of the field. The ball's anywhere. A lot of diving play, a lot of outfielding play. I love cricket.
I'd love to talk to you more, Jeffrey, about Rounders. I haven't played that before. I'd love to find
I
out
was
about
lucky. I found it in a very rare form. I went to my cousin's house in England years ago with a pretty girl who today I call my wife of 20 years, and we went. It was like I went to my cousin's workplace, and he was a teacher at school. It was recess. Rounders was a game founded in England in girls' school. It was a girls' boarding school pastime. It implemented itself into like the public schools of England. Anyway, this one day I was there and we played Rounders. And in Rounders, right, it's like cricket, it's like Townball. You swing the bat and it was more like a billy club. And any direction you went, it didn't matter. You had to run from home plate to first base, second base, third base, and back to home before they could do the same with the ball. They would field the ball, throw it to the catcher, to the first baseman, and the ball is flying through the air as you're running.
That's cool.
They're not trying to get you out. And what's cool about this game is that everybody runs. Everybody runs like mad. And that is a recess game, right? You're trying to work these kids. And that's what the game's all about. It's a pastime. And in vintage play, I love the idea, like, here, throw the ball up, hit it to my mate over there, and let's play the game.
Yeah.
Townball has a lot of that feel.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will keep all of you posted. I think that's all we've got. The big thing today was talking about the Fresno games. The big thing was talking about those dates. And really just getting more people who haven't met each other yet to meet each other, who all love the game. And newcomers who haven't tried
How
it
many
before,
other
but
games
wanna
are
play.
apart from Fresno? What are the dates of Bay Area games? Because I might be hanging around till end of June.
That weekend of the 18th, we're going to be playing some games up there.
I might be able to, because let's see.
Yeah, we'll be up there.
We just had a student coming from England. He was a professional cricketer.
Oh wow!
We told him to bring everything. He transferred.
Is he gonna play Townball?
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. Chris, do you know if you want to be coming down with the caravan for these games in June?
Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd be up for it.
Tristan, you'll be there too. You'll be coming back from Disneyland. Brent, you'll be wedding planning.
Yeah, it is likely what I'll be doing.
Yes.
But who knows? Who knows? I could convince Miranda to let me do an early game. But
she probably would be more likely to say yes because she knows I'll be there, and I could keep us accountable to get back on time so that we
Can she
can
come
do
down
all the
with us?
rehearsal stuff.
Can Miranda come down with us?
she would need to be up there planning. So because our
when's your wedding?
is July 9th.
Oh,
No, July
okay.
2nd.
Or 2nd.
Better not be the 9th.
Keep saying that. See, because we just changed it, so I have to get my brain thinking July 2nd now.
Yeah, I'm actually in Brent's wedding, so as soon as we're done playing in California, I'm gonna be driving up to Oregon.
We could just call it an extended bachelor party for you, man.
Yeah. So I don't want to keep any of you longer than you'd like. I know we've already been going for an hour and 20 minutes. I know some of you don't mind at all, and you could go for another hour. But is there anything else? Any questions that people had? I mean, we've just kind of been going around the horn here for a while. Any other last thoughts?
One question I have is that, you know, much of us in the vintage game, we play with balls that were handmade as opposed to factory made. Have you all considered or had conversations with anybody to possibly make the balls by hand, or is the factory made ball pretty much what's absolute for your game?
Jones, you answer that.
Sure, that's a really good question. So we've been playing with handmade balls this whole time. When we played University High School, we played with the balls that were manufactured from 19th century baseball because they're soft enough to play. And then so about the time I left Fresno, I got together with my students and we developed our own ball that actually has a cork and then a rubber and then a yarn and then a string interior. So we've been playing with our own homemade balls. And so, but what we've done with the factory in Taiwan, we said, okay, we want to make this ball exactly like it would be as if it were homemade. So that's why it's taken so long to get this done.
2 years.
Over 2 years, yes, to make it so precise. It's got this exact same ingredients as a homemade ball. The one difference though is that the ball is round as opposed to lopsided. That's the problem we have with our homemade balls. We can't get it quite as round as the ball winding machine. So as far as it being made by hand, it will no longer be, well, I mean, they're made by hand, they're stitched by hand in Taiwan, but the ball is wound by machine to make it round. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, exactly. Dollars and cents wise, what are you finding to be the difference? Will you be able to do the factory one less?
Well, the thing is, like, when we make our own homemade balls, because I've been doing so many samples from Taiwan back and forth, I've been using their leather because they actually have leather because they can afford it over there for whatever reason. The leather here, like Porky's ball, I don't like the leather that's used. It's a really thick leather as opposed to a thinner leather, and I think that makes a difference in how the ball feels. So the biggest problem with making our own balls is we can't find a good leather source that we like, and I don't know if anybody else has, other than just what you buy at Tandy Leather, which is really expensive. So just kind of curious, are you opposed to the factory made balls?
Not in the least. Not in the least. But I am just curious about the process through it because, you know, we've played with factory balls, we've played with handmade balls. A buddy of mine in Mesa makes them by hand, and I like the ones that he's made. But the factory balls are also good.
Yeah.
I'm not married to either one, but I am just kind of curious about your mindset on the process.
Yeah, the mindset is we like the homemade balls, and we try to make the factory balls as close to that as possible, as opposed to just what a baseball looks like, where it's so rigid. Like, we don't want the rigidity of the ball because it just makes it too hard to throw at somebody.
At the end of the day, do you imagine that the factory balls can be done at about the same price, or even less per ball than what you've been spending to make them?
Only because obviously the labor is cheap in Taiwan, which is, you know, which is unfortunate that the labor is so cheap for their purposes. And I just cannot find a good leather source. That's the biggest problem. And the leather's better and cheaper in Taiwan. That's really what it comes down to, is the leather, I think. Yeah, I mean, if we found a resource of leather here, I don't think we will. I've talked to Rawlings, and they said they can't give it to us because it's all licensed. There's just so many hoops you have to jump through to get good leather. It's because people have a monopoly in the market, as you know.
Sure.
But our resource in Taiwan has been really good about trying to make it exactly like we want it. So it's got that homemade feel of being able to soften up as you use it, and yet being very round. I think it strikes a good balance of what we're looking for, which is why we're working with them.
Great.
So equipment wise, you need the bat, balls, the zone, and the
sticks,
base stumps, right?
And a catcher's mask. You need a catcher's mask because you stand right behind the zone. Even with those UHS balls, we've had a black eye because someone wasn't wearing a mask and the pitch ricocheted off the bat, hit him in the eye. I told him to wear a mask. It was shark bait. I was like, and Tommy knows that story, right?
Yeah, I wanted to introduce Tommy. He finally got
Go for it, Tommy. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, hey guys. Sorry, just got off work. My name's Thomas Sanchez, whatever you want to call me. I guess I am one of the motherboard members. I also had the Bay Area Townball, I guess, league. I've been playing Townball since 2013, I believe, 2014. So I've been around for a while now. So I'm not sure where you are in the meeting right now.
Pretty much at the end, actually. It's okay. I'll send you the recording.
All right, yeah. So whoever comes out for the Bay Area team or for the Bay Area tour, when we reach the Bay Area, I was talking to Grant about it last night. I don't know if we touched upon it, but I'm hoping we have different venues for each game of that weekend. So one confirmed one will be Golden Gate Park.
Yes.
And then what I'm working on right now, I just got in touch with one of the groundskeepers is a field at Berkeley, which I hope you guys will all like. I played a lot of soccer, played some catch there. It's on UC Berkeley campus. Hopefully that'll be our second venue. And the third venue is to be determined. So I will let Jones know and he can relay the information once we have that down. But yeah. Any questions?
So AJ has a cricket team. You know AJ, right?
Yeah.
So he has a cricket team that he's just getting together now. I called JT on the phone this afternoon. He has a team. So we have 2 for sure teams in Fresno, but I think we can get 4 if we scrounge together all the people that play Townball in Fresno. So we're going to start with our games in Fresno, and then from there move northward until we end up over in. Are you going to be there in Fresno, Thomas, for those games?
Yes, I should be able to make almost. Yeah, I should make every single game in the tour if nothing comes up.
Let's go, man.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to try to get an Oregon team together so that when we come down.
Yeah.
Bill, are you interested in coming down with us?
I would love to, but I'm new on my job still. I've been on my job 6 months. I won't have the opportunity just yet. Maybe in another year, but
what do you do?
I'm the editor of the Tribune newspaper in Linden, a border town. We're about 6 miles south of the Canada border.
Got it.
Is that the one that had all the flooding this year?
Absolutely. Gosh, since my wife and I moved up here in late May, we've had record-breaking heat, record-breaking flooding, and snow and cold weather that was bordering on record-breaking lows. And that's not even counting the pandemic.
Okay, we'll take the excess water, please.
Well, you bring the shovels and you can have all you want.
We'll ship it your direction. Yep.
We'll take as much as you can give.
That's funny because I came from Arizona, where the past several years we've been even more void of rain in Arizona than we normally are void of rain in Arizona.
Nice to meet you, Bill, and
you the same.
Then Jeffrey, right? Jeffrey's from Pennsylvania, all the way across.
I live in Rhode Island.
Oh,
I'm currently it's ski season, so I'm in New Hampshire. I ride snow for a living. I'm really an engineer, but don't tell anyone.
We had snow last weekend. We went to the hills, Raj's place, up in the hills, and got stuck in snow.
So Tommy, this is the field you're talking about at Berkeley.
Oh man, that looks like fun. For Townball, it's perfect.
Yeah, it looks like the polo grounds.
Yes, it does.
Yep, so you've got pretty large grandstands.
That would be fantastic to play in, right?
Yeah.
So where is this schedule posted?
Tommy can send it to us.
Okay.
How can we do that? Are you gonna post it on the chat? Maybe?
Tommy, I'll try to bring a Fresno team up there.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, that'd be great, AJ. That'd be great if we can do that.
Yeah, it's a historic stadium, so I'm pretty sure we'd all have a pretty good view of everything.
This schedule is not in stone yet, AJ. So we'll have to get it in stone with the teams once we know exactly how many teams we have. I'm gonna have to talk to people like Jake Ross and find out if they can get a team together in Fresno.
So This is in the middle of the week also. We need to tell Raji not to run the summer camp 1 week later. He was thinking of running this summer camp, STEM summer camp 1 week later.
Which week?
This week. But
Okay.
he was, so tell him no quickly. He's going to call you.
Okay.
So Golden Gate Park is right here on the left-hand side, and then Edwards Stadium at Berkeley is over there, and then we'll find a third location somewhere.
And we will send we'll send a more solid schedule as soon as we can find out from people. I need to find someone to lead a team in Fresno.
I can ask Josue. I thought he was going to be on the call, but I guess not. But I'll be talking to him this week.
Where does he live?
Fresno.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
He
need
lives
to
near
find.
Fresno State. Yeah.
I mean, maybe Josue can lead it. Maybe we should have someone that knows a lot of the old people, unless Josue can find more people, or he can find his own team too. You know, there's so many options.
Yeah, I'll ask him.
Okay. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. This is really good. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for all of your time. We really appreciate this.
Okay, I will check
I've
on
got
with
nothing else
you.
if you don't.
Nice meeting you all. Some new faces, some familiar faces.
If you want the recording, whatever way you've been contacting me, whether that's email or social media or text, just ask and I'll send it to you.
I'll post it on our website too, 21stcenturytownball.com.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, do you know we have a website?
I didn't, but I'll look it up for sure.
21ctownball.com, and this will be on there. There it is. Thanks, Grant.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Good night. Thank you.
Happy New Year, guys.
Namaste.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.